Good afternoon, everyone. Trader Tim from eMoney Mind here, doing a Monday market analysis video. A great day in the markets. I want to walk through the ES trades from today, but also let's start with the daily chart. And last week, my chart looked something like this, where we had a retracement at 29.05s. That broke the 61.8. And you'll notice a couple things about today. The first, we closed at the high of the day. The second, we did not break the swing low from back here, which is at 28.65s. You also notice that we closed at Friday's close. And lastly, you probably noticed this blue line down here. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see how we've traded at the bottom of this channel multiple times, and that sort of fueled another leg up. So that's what I'm looking for here. After we made the pullback on Friday, I had this long drawn up, and before that, we had a nice setup long that traded at 60s up to target. So I just used that anchor point to new highs, like so. And so that has a target 29.78s. I thought it was a little higher. Let me adjust that here. I thought it was 80s. Yeah, there we go. 29.80. So on our way to 3,000, and things are looking good. My line in the sand would be a break of this 28.65s, and that would be very concerning if we broke that swing low and then took out the 61.8. So let's talk about today. We started the day setting up in a long, not quite 15 minutes into the day, and we didn't pull back all the way. But when we get close like this to the 50% and don't quite make it there, I just consider that close enough and use that anchor point near the 50 to new highs, as opposed to just using the same anchor point up to new highs. Because if we're not getting quite to the 50, if it's being bought before that, chances are things are going to be pretty strong. From there, same thing, pulled back, didn't get a retracement at the 50, but traded up to the target. Then this next one was looking good. I was looking at it for a long, but we had a high ticket highs. And so I ended up passing on the long, thinking that, okay, well, if we came down and broke the swing low, then I could take a short. So that one didn't materialize. So I drew up the next retracement. And then here we had a double top. And so this was a great signal to start looking at, okay, well, we've got double top, a nice series here that did bounce at the long. We've been in a series of moves higher. And once we broke that swing low, double top down to the break of the swing low, as well as the break of the 61.8. That really set us up into a nice short. And that kind of kicked things off in this, the great short trade for the day, a 90.25. So from there, I came back and I drew the full retracement on the day. I wanted to see if we stop the halfway back for the day. And on the way down, we didn't really get a swing high, develop. We did stop at the 50. And so I asked myself, okay, if this long was going to start taking off, where would that momentum shift come from? And well, it would be a break of the next 61.8. So that's exactly where I put my stop, just above the 61.8. And we held that short and continued to sell off. And so I like when we break down, like when a setup fails this long, trading hours only long, when that fails, the high from before, like on the upper end of the long to the low below it, is a good setup. And if you weren't in a trade, this one didn't fill. But once again, where could I place my stop? Or where would I be wrong and where would I want to place my stop? Or not necessarily wrong, but where would the trade be over? It's above the 61.8, which also happens to be above this little swing high. So trail my stop down once again. Remove this guy, and then we got going. And so I had 74s and 73s on my radar. 73 was Friday's low, and then this 74-ish was actually 74.50 was the long at the 50% retracement. So what I did, trailing swing highs here, these little guys, and as we started to get close to the 73s, um, I just started trailing the swing highs on the way down. I'm sorry, trailing each candle. So I was trailing the swing highs. I left my stop here on half of the remaining position and then trailed each candle on the way down as we kind of came down and were breaking the 73 and a quarter. And so as we broke lows, I'm thinking, okay, now are we going to go into free fall mode or are we going to dip in by a couple of ticks and bounce? So I just trailed each candle's high and got out of that portion. It was a 71s. I couldn't get it down above this last candle fast enough. And then we bounced, didn't break the swing high, and then rolled over again. And then eventually came back up, and that's where I got taken out of the rest of the position after we had moved sideways for a little while. And yeah, really, really great trade. It's great to see the continuation where we have one setup, two setups, three setups, and then, diving off a cliff. And that's the follow through that I want to see. And all of that in the context of a day where we closed very strongly at the end of the day. So it just goes to show that you don't have to trade with the daily trend. You want to trade with with the strongest momentum at the time, and in this case on the 512 tick chart. So as we now trade into the week, I'm going to draw up the opposing, which happens to be 2906s, kind of lines up right with where the long was. Now it's a short, and I want to see if there's a reaction there. And if we break down from there, break the swing low, break the 61.8. Now I'm a little more concerned that and expecting a longer term downtrend to develop. Just being right here at the bottom of the channel, I'm not super worried, and I would expect us to, move higher if we can break 29.15s. Definitely be looking for those new highs to develop. So really good day in the markets. I hope those continue. Tomorrow we'll be doing a live trading session, and you can check that out over at emoneymind.com/VIP. So I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.